You Richard?
Yes.
I'm George.
Hi, nice to see you.
Say hi to the camera.
Hi, camera. I'm Richard Browning, founder and chief test pilot from Gravity. I think we're starting at past, but I'm going to do just a little warm up of the engines to also give you an example of the noise. It gets way louder than you're going to hear now. It's just a warm up, okay? And also allows me to check that having taken these out of 2 suitcases, that everything's running okay. About 20% as loud as it gets, okay? So you put them in.
Richard, again, very nice show you put out there, but I'm sure there are more to the suit than you showed. What are the actual limitations of this jet suit?
I'd say that the obvious one is, as with most aircraft, it's about what it can lift. So you're flying because you're blowing air downwards, just like a fire hose of water. You're pushing air downwards and lifting up. That thrust.
We've seen some of that.
Yeah. Well, you get the water systems, don't you? It's the same physics, but now with air, and you don't need a jet ski on a pipe.
Exactly.
But to generate that thrust, these engines will only push out a certain amount of power.
Okay.
And the heavier fuel and the heavier person and heavier equipment, gradually you'll get to the point where it can't lift. But it depends on the air temperature.
if you've got really cold air, it's just the same as a helicopter pilot. If you've got cold, dense sea level air, then you get the most power. The hotter the air temperature and the higher up the mountain you go, the less dense the air is and the less power you get. So with this, in today's weather, I could probably carry pilot fuel and equipment at about 100 kilos.
Okay, 100 kilos, and for that you need 1,400 horsepower.
The connection between jet thrust and horsepower is not very good science, but this is actually about 1,750. But 1,500 sounds easier.
So
it's a lot.
It's a lot just to lift a human off the face of the earth.
By blowing air.
It's
crazy. It shouldn't work. Yes.
It shouldn't, but it does.
Yeah.
Because the efficiency of the system and the weight of it.
It's if you've noticed, airliners, big aircraft you go on holiday in, their engines have got bigger and bigger and bigger because the efficiency goes up. You can then imagine when you make them this small and light, the efficiency goes down.
Exactly.
And that's it. So you can't make something small, powerful, and efficient.
But you got 4 of those.
4 here and 3 on the back.
And 3 on the back, so you can have, let's say, a little bit of stability and direction.
You're really, if you simplify it by thinking on each arm, that is one thrust vector up my arm.
Okay.
So between those two, they push up my arm. So you've got the same on the other arm, and then you've got the same on the back. So you're really a 3-legged thrust vector. So you're like a camera tripod. Okay, that's why you're stable. And if you squeeze them in, you rise up. If you flare them out, you come down again. And then to go forwards without thinking, if you just point those back and in a bit to stop you sinking, you'll go forwards. But this is where your natural brain kicks in. If you can run at night across a bumpy surface, you can sure as hell balance 3 thrust vectors. So we all have more balance capability than we remember we have.
A doctor says, or any scientist will tell you, that walking is falling, but avoiding falling with every step you take.
With real-time feedback from your feet, your eyes, your ears, and it does it so fast that you can run across an uneven surface.
Exactly.
Which is crazy.
It's the same with this. You're actually falling all the time.
No,
and you're controlling that fall.
No, because when you're walking or running, you have an unknown period before you're falling,
yes.
and then you're in control when you've stabilized.
Yes.
You're never in that phase with this. You're constantly planted in that triangle of thrust, in that tripod of thrust.
Until you get beyond the tipping point, the actual tipping point. If you ever do that, if you put your hands...
You just go forwards. I know what you're saying. We never in nearly 7 years has anybody ever fallen off the thrust.
Because they're too scared to push their hands back.
No. I mean, you saw my launch when I launched rapidly. You are so stable. There's nothing about balancing on a ball of thrust.
Yes.
No, it's not. No. I know what you mean, but no.
Okay.
No, you don't feel like you're going to fall off.
So it's been already 7 years.
Pretty much.
This is a hell of a show, but it's still not a commercial product. It's not for everyone.
It's a niche commercial product. So for the military, for the medical community, that is a product.
Okay.
For racing, for training, for having fun with, like a jet ski, then that is also a product. We're a profitable company. We were valued at $38 million after our Series B. We have a quite robust commercial model, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, but it's still a niche product.
Oh, it's not mainstream transport.
Exactly. And it's not going to be anytime soon because of the noise and the fact that you cannot make this, let's say, safe for everyone.
No, I mean, it's like a helicopter. Not everybody has a helicopter. And a helicopter is noisy, can be dangerous. It takes a long time to train and learn on it. It's like a much smaller version of the helicopter challenge. It's never going to be a practical system for the near future anyway.
So still, why did you do it?
Just for fun. No business reason whatsoever. I did it alongside my day job. I used to run a trading book. I just thought my family engineering inspiration, my love of building and making things, and a sporting background, believing that you can train your body to do stuff. I put it all together and thought, I think this could work better than the conventional wisdom suggested. And I thought I'll just try it. And I put one engine on one arm, and it was like, actually, if I close my eyes and ignore the noise, it's just leaning on a surface.
Okay.
I just have to connect them in the right place.
So you're actually a real life, let's say,
I didn't escape from a cave in the desert though. So
not yet.
So the Iron Man thing, I didn't build this to build an Iron Man suit. I love the first film.
Of course.
I think everybody who likes building and making things and designing things finds that film quite fun because
Of course.
in adverse conditions, to escape captivity in a cave, you have to build a crazy machine, and then when you're a billionaire later, you build an even better one. Who doesn't like that story?
Of course.
But that was not why I built this. I find it flattering, though, that when people look at this, the first connection they often make is, oh, it looks like that imaginary creation, an Iron Man suit. That's quite humbling, but it's not why we built it.
Of course. And again, it's not for everyone or anyone, let's say, unless you are in the military or, like you said, in very special cases.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to make it mainstream, where did you put it? Because I've seen some ideas of putting it on cars, you know, about giving an extra boost to a sports car.
But I mean, we've not invented the jet engine, so you can happily put a jet engine on a car, and you'll get told you can't because all the exhaust coming out the back isn't going to be great to wait in a queue behind, right? I mean, there was a car years ago with a jet engine in it, it just didn't work very well. I'm not trying to convince people that this is a mainstream form of transport. I mean, it's a bit like if you look at a jet ski. What is the point of a jet ski? A few people use it for lifeguarding, but nearly everybody else just uses it for fun. So actually, in a way, for our racing and training division, this is the jet ski of the sky. It doesn't go very far, isn't very practical, but it's massive fun. Now, on the military and medical side, we have really proven that actually, in certain circumstances, this does things no one imagined possible.
Give me a few examples. Where did you said this is awesome? I love the use case for this.
For military or medical?
Any of those.
So medical. So if somebody has had a climbing accident and they're bleeding out, and they've probably got 20 minutes before their heart's going to stop because they're bleeding, or they're having a cardiac arrest, or they're having breathing difficulties and they're having an asthma attack. If you're on a mountain, the mountain that we did the most recent exercise on, it was 1 hour 20 for the mountain rescue people to walk up. Probably it's going to be too long. The helicopters couldn't operate because of the rain and the wind and the fog. We flew to the pretend casualty location in 3.5 minutes.
Okay.
So as a trained medic, which I'm not, but as a trained medic, and we have them in our team, you can land next to the casualty and you can stop that blood loss, you can get the heart going, you can stabilize them and buy them that other hour to work out how to get them down.
But has any medic actually used in real life?
In exercises, we're hoping it's just time, because we also don't want to see the medic world as a source of revenue. We don't want to...
Okay.
I know they buy helicopters for lots of money,
of course,
but it's our job to prove this is more efficient in some circumstances than helicopters. And we're getting there, but it has to compete alongside everything else we do. I'm hoping next year we will have a real life rescue where we're not going to use the public as guinea pigs, but we'll try and beat the response from foot or helicopter. So we'll have a team in a Land Rover waiting in a valley, waiting for a busy weekend, and when somebody has a medical incident, their medical team in the Land Rover will get there faster than anything else.
So you can actually, in this scenario, you're cheaper than a helicopter?
Yeah, much cheaper. And
how much
faster.
cheaper?
These are around $500,000, but the maintenance and the fact you don't need to train like a helicopter pilot, you don't need a 3-man crew. There's lots of advantages, but it is new. It is a lot newer than a helicopter. Helicopters in the 1960s took things like the Vietnam War for people to go, oh yeah, they're really useful. When they first came out, tanks in the 1920s, everybody just said, no, I want a horse and a sword, because they didn't know what the new thing was. So we are still in that mode. People have to see it to believe what it can do. For how long can it fly in an emergency situation? So you said 3.5 minutes just to get to to that patient? But that's all you need to do. You need to get to them. Think about paramedics on motorbikes and bicycles. Of course. They don't take you to hospital, but they get to you and they stabilize you. Yeah, the first few minutes are the critical ones. Exactly. So how many minutes can I fly on one of these? This one's about 3.5, 4 minutes. We've done like 7 or 8, but I could get to where that big building is there, or maybe in the back of the camera. I mean, I could get to that tower block in probably 7 seconds. Less than 10 seconds. Okay. Because you're flying in a straight line over any terrain. It's amazing how you don't need much flight time. You can go very quickly, low over the ground, and you don't need that much. I was listening to you, and for any of those scenarios, you're actually in a competition with the drone industry, electrical drone industry. Not in the medic world, really, because it's going to be a long time until you, as an asthma, heart attack, or climbing victim, lying there, can have a drone come along, reassure you, speak to you, ask you what's wrong, roll you onto the right side, take off, expose the wound, do chest. But it'll be a long time. I've seen drones that can carry people. But somebody has to put them on it. So the dream is that you land as a medic, you go down on one knee, you ping out of the gear, I haven't got the legs on this, you keep them alive, and then you hit the button, and the drone comes in, you secure the patient, say, are you okay? You're going to be back home, to down the bottom of the mountain soon. Click, go, and the drone takes them. Without that person, the medic world has a problem.
We still need that person to do that.
For a while yet, yes.
And this is where the use case fits into your
Really
scenario.
well. And actually in the military as well, teaming with drones, so in a world that's increasingly using drones, if you're as a 4-man fighting team, you should have a reconnaissance drone in front of you, fire support to the side of you, and heavy lift, equipment, fuel, CASEVAC behind you. So you can now, as a Special Forces soldier, keep up with the drones. Otherwise you can't. We can fly over mines and mud and water. This is what we were doing in Ukraine. We can fly over things that everything else can't.
Has any of these flown in Ukraine?
Yeah.
Because from what I understand, the Ukrainians and the Russians are in a stalemate because each
They've got
side...
the same equipment.
Yes, everybody...
Every major combat situation in history was usually won by the side that turned up with the surprise or the speed or the aggression the other side wasn't expecting.
Yeah, but the Russians don't yet have these.
There you go. So we can fly over. You remember every time it's not summer or winter, it's mud, right? So
Yes.
all the vehicles and all the humans can't move.
Yes.
We don't care. We can fly over dead ground, keeping out of line of sight. You can land in a piece of dead ground, pop up, deploy some equipment, and then fly back to another normal vehicle a kilometre away and drive away faster than the artillery can get you.
Again, with a lot of assistance because you're a sitting duck and you're a hot sitting duck that can easily be seen by infrared.
So yes, if you have no dead ground or forests or buildings to fly behind, for anti-aircraft systems, we're too low for them to target.
Okay.
No aircraft, no anti-aircraft system is to be designed to kill an aircraft here, right? And even if you saw a missile launch, just land, shut it down, wait until it's gone, take off again. So it would not be impossible, but we are a very, very hard, small target for an anti-aircraft system. And also, we have systems. You can see them online. We have systems that allows you to engage targets whilst you're flying, but you're not supposed to be. This is fire and maneuver. You're supposed to be maneuvering, just like running across a field or driving a vehicle. Everybody thinks you should be just flying around shooting stuff, which is stupid. Anybody who's been in the military knows you maneuver, get down in a position to engage a target. When it's clear, you then bound again. This is the bound without actually.
I can imagine you with an RPG.
There is that footage out there.
Oh yeah.
Not an RPG, but a LAW, light anti-tank system.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
So-
Shoot and scoot anti-armor capability is one of the things that they really liked. Anyway, it's so new that we're still in the 1920s tank and 1960s helicopter mode. People take a lot to digest what you can do. If you look at maritime boarding, getting troops on a ship, at the moment you have to bang alongside in a rubber boat with a pole and a hook, and then climb where you can't use your hands, where all it takes is somebody and just you've got a problem, or you're dangling from a rope or sliding down a rope in a very vulnerable position. We can saturate targets in seconds and go away again or relocate.
The most important thing is that you had some, let's say, technical advancements that help you have this kind of thrust on a jetpack like this. I can see some pieces are, let's say, 3D printed.
All of it is really.
Okay.
Everything that's those colours. This is all polypropylene. It's all nice and squidgy. You don't want stiff carbon fibre or titanium, like I said in there. It's all slightly warm and human.
So there's a huge advancement in terms of technology in the past, let's say, 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to? What would you like to see improved that you can go even further with this technology?
The engines would be nice, but it's hard to imagine them getting an order of magnitude better. They are far more reliable and far more powerful and very quick at starting. I mean, it's insane. When you get in a helicopter, the pilot spends 15 minutes warming it up and starting it up. I literally can squeeze that and be in the air in 20 seconds.
Yes.
From cold. So that's been a great advancement. I think that'll get down to about 6 seconds. In testing, we've got it to 6 seconds, which is crazy. I think it'll just be the overall sophistication of the whole package, particularly military and medical users always very much prize the robustness and reliability. I probably could ping this and drop this on the floor from here and it probably would be okay, but I need to remove the word probably
Yes.
You know, like these are an old version. These are quite experimental. They're not as strong as they could be, but they're great because you can fly in deserts. This is why they're on this. You can kick up.
That's
tons
the
of-
air intake.
Yeah, you can kick up loads of sand, and it keeps its sand out of there. It stops damaging the engine. There's loads of improvements coming. I mean, lots of things that can get better.
But none of these will turn this technology to electric.
We've built an electric system, and it flew for 30 seconds. However, it weighed more than the pilot, and the pilot was our lightest, skinniest designer.
I can see you're a fit guy yourself.
I couldn't fly it. I mean, even my engineer, he was like 60 kilos, and we had to get him to even change his shoes to light shoes to get him off the ground. And it's the same problem everybody's familiar with phones.
Yes,
We need better energy density. It's very hard to
exactly.
make electrical energy storage that's also safe. Remember the Samsung phones that caught fire and things? If somebody will solve this, because there's billions going into it. When they have solved that, and you can make something that big with the same energy as all of that jet fuel or diesel, then we have a great future with electric. But for now, it's hard.
Because the energy density is much better in that fuel instead of electricity.
Massively, yes. Yeah.
And this is what we need to understand, that we are not there yet.
No. So those kind of breakthroughs will make a big difference.
Again, thank you for taking the time.
Always at all, my pleasure.
It's been fun, but I need to. I know you gotta let it go because it's been heavy on you.
It's always nice to put it down. I don't mind. I've stood around for hours in it, but it's much more relaxing flying. It's designed for flying rather than standing around in it. So
Again, thank you, Richard.
no worries at all.
Thank you.
You very much.